And two big movies out this weekend. We're going to find out how they are in the Bell Breakdown right now. Yesterday we were talking Aliens.
Right, we were, and now we're shifting gears.
We're shifting gears to Rambo, Last Blood. Listen, I love me some Sylvester Stallone.
Do you really?
Yes, usually in Rocky though. I'm not a huge Rambo fan. A little violent for me.
It's very, very violent. And yeah, I think Stallone has done a good job of kind of bringing Rocky into the modern day with the Creed movies.
Yes.
Not as much with Rambo.
No.
The last Rambo movie we had was in 2008, and before that it was back in the 80s when they had the original Rambo trilogy. So it's been a while, even since the last one. And I don't know really why we need to see Rambo again. They're calling it Last Blood as if it's this kind of wrap-up of the series, but really it's just another installment of Rambo killing a bunch of people for very, very thin reasons.
Okay.
He is living back in Arizona where he's originally from, and he suddenly has this kind of surrogate family that we've never seen before, like a housekeeper and her granddaughter. Their relationships are not entirely clear. And this teenager, she calls him Uncle John, and she takes a trip to Mexico and of course is immediately kidnapped and sold into human trafficking, because that's apparently what happens if you just set foot in Mexico.
Okay.
Is the way this franchise views foreign countries. And so of course Rambo has to go kill everyone. And
So it's a little silly.
it's very silly. I mean, these movies are all silly. I think if you go back to First Blood, the original Rambo movie, it actually was a really well done drama about PTSD and about how America treats its veterans, and they just completely dropped that by the second movie and just turned Rambo into this killing machine. They try to make him a little more vulnerable here. I mean, Stallone is 73 at this point, so you got to acknowledge that to a certain degree.
Sure.
They try to build that emotional relationship between him and this young girl, but none of that really works, and everybody at this point is just waiting for the violence, and we get it in the climax, but it's also kind of cheaply done. These movies don't have huge budgets anymore, and I think unless you really, really love Rambo and like all the Rambo movies, even up to the last one, otherwise there's no reason to see this.
Okay, so none at all. Not even like a great action flick. You got to go to the movies because there's some great scenes with fires and explosions.
No, I mean there's fires and explosions, but they're really not that impressive, honestly.
Got it. Listen, I'm hoping you liked the next one because I feel like a lot of people were looking forward to this, Downton Abbey. It's based off the TV show.
Yeah, it was a very popular show, aired on PBS in the US. It's a British series about a wealthy family and their servants in what started in like the 19-teens, I think, and we're now up to the 1920s as we get to this movie.
Okay.
And I liked it. I watched, I think, maybe 4 seasons worth before I got a little tired of it. It got kind of overly soapy and they killed off a lot of major characters, and I was a little tired of it, but a lot of people stuck with it through the whole series, and I think if you liked the show, you'll like the movie. It's basically just a long episode of the show, which I think for fans of what this show is great, is fine. I mean, you revisit all the characters that you loved. The plot here is that the king and queen are coming for a visit to Downton Abbey and everyone has to get prepared. And so it's pretty minor. There's a lot of little romantic subplots and a little bit of intrigue. It's kind of episodic because it's based on a TV series and there's a million characters, so they have a tough time giving everyone something to do. But as someone who hadn't watched the show in a while and had gotten a little sick of it, I still had a nice time here. It was pleasant to revisit these characters.
You had a nice time.
Yeah, it's not a great movie, and it's certainly not the kind of thing that you would want to see if you haven't watched the show. But for people who did watch the show, which is a lot of people, I think they will get what they want out of this.
Well, because you almost need, when you go to a movie, it's almost like you want it to kind of be edgy and all that kind of thing, but then when it's something that you watched, you kind of wanted to just serve that purpose.
Yeah, it's very much...
You want the feels and you want to revisit things.
Yes,
and
it's very much comfort food. It's not a challenging movie in any way. And but I think it does that better than, say, Rambo does. It sticks to the spirit of the original, which is what people are looking for. So yeah, I had a nice time.
It's not like a reunion of any types, right? It's just kind of like taking a long episode.
No, it just really continues what had been happening. I mean, there was a finale, but I don't think they dispersed the characters. There's one major butler character who they have to bring back in, but otherwise life just kind of goes on, and we see a little more of it, and there's enough subplots that aren't resolved that they could totally do another one, which they probably will if it makes enough money.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so no to Rambo, absolutely no, and you had a nice time at the
Yeah,
Downton
maybe
Abbey.
see it Downton Abbey if you like the show.
I saw Hustlers on your recommendation.
Oh, did you like it?
Last Friday. Yeah, I thought it was very entertaining,
Nice.
interesting story. I think, like you said, though, they could have cut out like 15 minutes maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I like that. I thought that movie was surprisingly very effective.
Right, and you were right. Great reviews of Jennifer Lopez's pole dancing.
She's quite good. Yeah, with the pole dancing.
Yeah, she
yes.
just swung around
She's
there. Like,
impressive
wow.
work there.
I
Yeah.
thought, is that a body double or a stunt
No,
double?
I think she did it all. She's in good shape.
She's got a lot of talents.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Josh. Great bell breakdown today. He liked one, folks. Stay with us. We're back after this. We had a nice time.
Yeah.